let me be real with you for a second. UGC creators are one of the biggest money pits in e-commerce right now, and almost nobody's talking about it. You pay like 50, 100, sometimes even $200. You wait a week, you get something back. And it is either off brief, the lighting's bad, the hook is weak, or it just doesn't convert. So you give feedback, you wait again, maybe it gets better, maybe it doesn't. And the whole time your competitors are testing new creatives while you are sitting there refreshing your inbox. I've talked to a lot of e-commerce brand owners over the past year, and this is one of the most common things I hear. UGC is working for other brands, but by the time I get the videos back, I've already burned through my testing budget. So in this video, I want to break down something that is genuinely changing how smart brands are running their paid social, and I want to do it properly because there is a lot of noise around this topic, and I want you to actually walk away with something useful. Here is what we're covering. First, I'm going to walk you through exactly why the traditional UGC model is broken and not in the obvious way you think. Second, I'll get into what AI-generated ads actually are, what they look like, and why they're starting to outperform human-made content in certain contexts. Third, I'll break down the actual economics, like what you are spending now versus what this shift looks like on a spreadsheet. And then fourth, I want to talk about the one thing most people get wrong when they try to make this switch, because it kills results and I want you to avoid it. By the end of this, you are going to have a really clear picture of whether this is something that should be in your creative strategy right now. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. So first, why is the traditional UGC model broken? I mean, the obvious answer is cost and speed. Yes, it is expensive. Yes, it is slow. But honestly, those are just symptoms. The real problem runs deeper than that. Here is the thing about UGC creators. They're individuals. And individuals have good days and bad days. Their performance is inconsistent. You might get a great video from someone one month and a completely flat video the next. Their enthusiasm fluctuates. Their setups change, their availability is unpredictable, and more importantly, you have almost no control over the variables that actually drive ad performance. Think about what makes a UGC ad convert. The hook, the pacing, the emotion in the first 3 seconds, the specific way a product is held or demonstrated. These are all things that the creator decides on the day they film it based on how they're feeling, what equipment they have set up, how much time they have. You can put it all in a brief, you can give examples, but at the end of the day, you are handing creative control to someone who has like 50 other brands in their inbox. And then there is the iteration problem. If you want to test 5 different hooks for the same ad, you are paying for 5 separate videos. You are waiting 5 separate production timelines. You are managing 5 separate creator relationships. Most brands don't do this. So they end up making creative decisions based on insufficient data because the cost and time to test properly is it is too high. That is the real problem, not the price tag per video. It is that the model structurally limits your ability to iterate and test at the speed that paid social actually requires. Okay, so this brings us to the second thing I want to walk through, what AI-generated UGC actually looks like in practice, because I think a lot of people have the wrong mental model here. When most people hear AI video, they think of those early deepfake style videos that look kind of wrong. The mouth movements are off, the skin texture looks weird, the voice sounds like a GPS, and look, a year ago, that was mostly accurate. The quality wasn't there, but the gap has closed dramatically in the AI avatars that exist. When they're used correctly in the right context with the right script, are genuinely hard to distinguish from a real creator video. I am not saying this to hype up the technology. I am saying it because I've seen the watch through data and the comment sections on these ads, and people are engaging with them like they're real because functionally for the viewer, they are real, a face, a voice, a person talking to them about a product they're interested in. And here is what changes when your creator is an AI. Everything that was a variable becomes a constant. The hook is exactly what you wrote. The pacing is exactly what you set. You want to test 5 different hooks. You render 5 versions in the time it takes to write 5 scripts. You want a version in Spanish, done. You want a version targeted at moms, a version targeted at gym goers. You are not hiring different creators, you are writing different scripts. The control that brands have been trying to get from creators for years, AI just gives it to you. That is the shift. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets really interesting. Let's say you are a mid-sized e-commerce brand running paid social. You are spending, call it 10 to 15,000 a month on ads. You probably need somewhere between 15 and 30 fresh creatives to keep your ads from fatiguing. That is a conservative number, by the way. Some brands need more, at even $50 per creator video. And a lot of good creators charge more. You are looking at $750 to $1,500 a month just in creator fees. Before revisions, before the time your marketing team spends managing those relationships, writing briefs, reviewing content, giving feedback, and you are probably not testing as aggressively as you should be, because every additional test costs $50, $100, and another week of waiting. So you are making decisions with incomplete data, which means some of your ad spend, probably a meaningful percentage, is going to creatives that would have lost the test if you'd run it. Now flip the model with AI generated content. The marginal cost of an additional creative is basically just the cost of writing a script. You can test hooks aggressively. You can iterate in days, not weeks. You can make data-driven decisions instead of gut feel decisions. The economics aren't even close once you zoom out and look at total creative output, total testing velocity, and total time to insight. Here is the fourth thing, and this is the one most people get wrong when they try to make this switch. They treat AI generated content like a plug and play replacement. They think, okay, I'll just swap out my creators for AI avatars and run the same ads I was running before. And then they're disappointed when the results are mediocre. Here is why that doesn't work. The reason human UGC converts when it converts is not because a real human made it. It is because of specific psychological triggers that authentic feeling content activates. The relatability, the specific way someone talks about a problem they've actually had, the slightly imperfect delivery that signals genuineness. AI content can replicate those triggers, but you have to engineer them into the script. A generic script delivered by an AI avatar is just a generic ad. You have to write the script the way a real person would actually talk, the pauses, the specific language. The brands that are getting real results with AI UGC are the ones that take scripting seriously. They're not just describing the product, they're building a character, they're writing in a voice, they're thinking about the exact moment in a viewer scroll where this ad has to stop them. And when you do that, when you combine quality scripting with the speed and cost efficiency of AI generation, you are playing a completely different game than the brands that are still waiting for their creator packages. So look, we've covered a lot here. The UGC model is broken not because of cost, but because of control and iteration speed. AI-generated content has crossed a quality threshold where it is genuinely viable for performance advertising. The economics favor AI heavily once you account for testing velocity, not just per video cost. And the brands winning with this are the ones treating the script as the most important variable. If you are watching this thinking, okay, but how do I actually do this? What tool do I use? How do I set it up? What does the process look like end to end? I've put together a full walkthrough of exactly that. I'll show you the actual workflow, how the AI generation works, and what a production-ready ad looks like coming out the other side. The link is somewhere around this video. Go watch that next.